I want to give you a sense of what Adobe Audition is all about. So sit back, relax, and give me a few minutes to go over some of its attributes. Adobe Audition is a full-featured audio production studio application that works on both the Windows and Mac operating systems. It works with all sorts of file types, which is a great attribute. Here's a list of those file types, and they're typical file types, standard file types like Mac AIFF and Windows WAV, along with all sorts of video files that have audio associated with them. You can also extract audio from CDs. Very easy to do that using this feature. And you can record directly into Audition, doing one source of audio at a time or multiple sources. In this case, it's one source, just my microphone. You can see that I'm recording my narration right into Audition, and we'll just go back and listen to that. Source, just my microphone. You can see that I'm recording my narration right into Audition. Source, that's fairly easy to do. You can also record multiple tracks at once if you have an interface that allows you to do that. I've got this set up where I've got my single microphone being sent to two different tracks, but if I had an interface hooked up that allowed me to have multiple channels, I could have all those channels sent to individual tracks, which is a hugely important thing, and I explain how to do that in an upcoming tutorial, but I'll just give you a sense for how that works now. By recording this narration to those two different tracks, and what that does is it creates two files that then show up inside the Files panel over here, mic left, mic right, which I can then go on and edit. So once you get your audio into Audition, then you edit it. So let me show you how that works. My little file that I created here of the Gettysburg Address, and right off the bat, it's not that loud.
Our Father is brought forth on this continent.
What you can do is you can increase the volume easily, just like that.
Our Father is brought forth on this continent.
Undo that. You can increase the volume of just a small portion, for example.
A new nation, conceived in liberty.
Easy to do that. Let me just increase the volume overall here because I'm going to do something with this where it needs to be increased a little bit. You can also trim out pauses. So for example, here's this pause from here to there.
Cool.
Long pause. It's easy just to highlight that and press the delete key to trim that out. You can also trim the ends as well. You can take audio from other clips and insert it into this clip or mix it together if you want to do it that way. In addition to this kind of basic editing, you can apply effects. So I've applied an echo to this clip. I open up the echo effect. There it is. And you can listen to that echo by turning it on.
7 years ago. Our Father.
Probably a bit much, and one of the cool things is that you can listen to the audio and adjust the features of the effects as you listen.
Is brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
So that way I can fine-tune the echo or any other effect that I apply. You can use effects inside multi-track sessions, and I'll talk about multi-track sections in more detail in just a moment, but here's one that was set up, and I want to adjust the audio of this vocalist, so I'll solo her so you can hear her.
I couldn't give you what you wanted.
Now, she was recorded in a studio, so the recording is what's called dry. There's no reverb applied to it, but I can apply reverb to it. Let's see how she sounds with reverb applied.
I couldn't give you what you wanted.
That may, may be too much. If you think it's too much, you can always then adjust the reverb as you did with echo on the fly.
I couldn't give what you were asking for.
Something like that. You can also apply effects to instrumentalists, not just to vocalists. Let me apply it to this particular guitar. It's already got kind of a distorted feel to it, but I'm going to distort it even more by applying this distortion effect to it. Watch this. All kinds of distortion effects, and you can adjust them here inside this interface as well. Let me turn that off. You can adjust pitch. In addition to the overall sound quality, you can adjust the pitch of a singer or of an instrumentalist. I'll show you that. Now this is the waveform view, but you can switch to a different view here inside Audition, the spectral pitch view. You can apply an effect that'll adjust your pitch. The manual pitch correction. I've already done it here in this case. I've raised her pitch by 3 steps and lowered it by 3 steps. Let's listen to that. It's going to sound weird because her pitch does not need to be fixed, but at least give you a sense of how it works.
I couldn't give you what you wanted. I couldn't give what you were asking for.
That's pitch correction. So if you want to just tweak somebody's pitch, maybe not so dramatically like this, you can use the pitch correction to do that. One powerful feature of Adobe Audition is noise removal, getting rid of unwanted sounds. Let me show you how that works. By going to this little file here, I'm going to switch to a different view. This is the pitch view, but I'm going to switch to what's called the spectral frequency view, and this gives you a chance to see sound in a different way. If you look at this first clip, you can see there's this hum down here, this low frequency hum. You can get rid of a hum using a filter like this FFT filter, the fast Fourier transform. More or less gone. I could get rid of all of it if I wanted to, but that would affect the quality of the speech. You can also get rid of this kind of engine noise or motor noise.
7 years ago.
So you can see how that sounds. Let me just fix that by highlighting it. Going to effects, noise reduction, and this one lets me listen to it as I try it out.
7 years.
You can hear that motor noise, that engine noise is virtually gone. We move on to one more thing. One of the cool things about the spectral frequency view is that you can see problems if you look at them closely. Listen to this click here.
Our Father's.
That little click, try it again.
Our Father's.
I can see that click if I zoom in on it. There it is right there.
Our Father's.
I can get rid of that click using this wonderful thing called the Auto Heal tool. Effect, Auto Heal selection. That guy is gone.
Our Father's.
From there to that. Amazing. Now that we've done all this work with the editor and special effects, let's switch over to the multi-track session. Multi-track session was recorded here in Santa Rosa, California. All sorts of instrumentalists and vocalists on this one studio session. I'm going to focus only on these two tracks here, the vocalist and the rhythm guitar. Rhythm guitar is fairly loud. I'll just play it now. And when it's up against the vocalist, it's going to be too loud.
What you were asking for.
So what you can do is you can adjust the volume level of clips or tracks individually using keyframes. We'll just bring this guy way down so you get a sense of how that sounds relative to the vocalist.
I couldn't give you what you wanted.
Bring it down even more.
I couldn't give what you were asking for.
Or if I want to pan an instrument, let's go up to this guitar here. Pan it. Now right now all the instruments are in the center, but if I pan them I can make it sound like they're located someplace on the stage. So right now he's in the center, but I can pan him to the left, for example. I'll pan him to the right as I play this. Now that panning thing just adjusts the position for the entire clip or for the entire track. What I'd like to do is adjust it and change it over time. So I can do that using what are called keyframes. So I'll keyframe the beginning of this pan here. I'll pan them all the way to the left. I'll keyframe them and pan them all the way to the right. You can hear that as he moves across the stage, and I'll solo him so you get a better sense of what that's like. There you go. That's the way you do panning. Let me show you one more feature that's here inside Audition called the mixer. It looks very much like a mixer you'd see inside a production studio. And one of the cool things about the mixer is that you can adjust volume levels organically rather than the electronic way with keyframes. You can do it manually and have that sort of organic feel.
I couldn't give you what you wanted.
So I can adjust the volume level here of the guitarist rather than using keyframes, and then I can save all those changes doing one at a time and adjust it this way. And there are also many other features inside the mixer as well. So once you've done all your work and you're all done with your project, it's time to create a file that people can listen to. There are all sorts of different kinds of file formats that you can do and ways to do that. If I go back to the session, I can take this session and I can mix it down, the entire session or part of the session, to a file, and then I can save that file. Or I can take any file that I worked on over here, for example, go to File and Save As, and I can choose from any one of these many different file formats. And finally, if I select a whole bunch of files, let's say I've done a whole lot of songs that I've worked on, and I want to put them all on a CD, I can do that as well by selecting a whole bunch of files, right-clicking and saying Insert into CD Layout, and here's our CD layout where we can decide what the pause is between each clip. So what I think you can see is that basically Adobe Audition can take care of virtually all of your audio production needs.